welcome back to Dartmoor again. I managed to get out a bit sooner than I was anticipating. This is Sowerton Tor here, and you can just see Yes Tor in the distance, which we'll head for later. And then the line on that horizon is High Will Haze, heading in that direction. I think the Tor right on the horizon, I think that's West Mill Tor, I think. But in the past, when I've done this section of the walk, I've come down the path and then cut down the valley, heading down towards the reservoir. But this time I haven't been up here for quite a while, maybe not even this year, so I thought I'd just come up here and then head down from up here. The other thing I just wanted to show you, you can see just around down there, that's the main road that you come in on. And you can see the main road with the cars going across somewhere along there, and then there's a side road that comes down this way. And when you come along this road, you can see this line of rocks much more clearly than you can from up here. From up here they just look like a few rocks in the grass, but when you're on the road and you look up, it's almost like a line of cliffs that run just along there. So as I say, this is Sowerton Tor up here, and I'm going to now head down from here into the valley. You can just see the dam there for Meridian, as Meridian Reservoir Dam just over there. I've come around the back, so heading up in this direction. You can see a bridge over there. I have seen people walking on it. Yeah, it's a cyclist. I thought it was going to be a train bridge, but it's not. I can see a cyclist on it up there. So it looks like some mining or something has happened in this neck of the woods a long time ago. You can see sort of in the haze, it's not mist, it's haze, that's Yes Tor there in the, in that haze. So if you don't come this way around to get sort of coming up this slope, if you want to go to Yes Tor, then you would from Meridian Reservoir, that I think just somewhere back there on the horizon is Sowerton Tor. So you would from there you would come down, and then you'd go the other side of this hill here, and then that would bring you out at the top of this valley, and then from there you can go straight up to Yes Tor. But as I'm probably going to follow this path here, swing to the left for West Mill Tor, pick up the track, and then just follow the track for a little way. It goes towards, the track goes towards Dinger Tor, but just before you get to Dinger Tor there's another track that goes to the left called Arnold Ridley, or Arnold Ridley Way, or something like that. So I should take that, and then that will take me to the next valley over, and then I'll follow that track, and then that should take me over some rough terrain and then around the back to Little Kneeset. But more on that later. Right, well, you can just see Sowerton Tor on the horizon. Meridian Reservoir is down in that valley, and you've got Yes Tor up here. Then here you've got Westmill Tor. We're going to follow this track down here. It's a bit of a path. And then I think there'll be a little bit of cross country, but I don't think it's quite easy. Then there's another track that we'll pick up in this valley, which will follow that track for a little way. And then that tour straight through there, that's Howto. Those buildings just there, that's part of the Oakhampton Barracks. So yeah, so you've got Westmill Tor here and Howto here. I don't know if it's Howto or Rotor. So we'll just follow this road. It's almost virtually a road. I've just been following the track here, and there's a Dartmoor Ranger Land Rover parked there, so there's obviously a Ranger around here somewhere or other. Just to show you how far we've come over on this walk, that's Steepleton Tor, and just through there somewhere is Wild Tor, and then that's Hanging Stone Hill up there. So of course when I come around here in the winter, of course, that's my usual area over that side, over there. There's a Sea King helicopter just over there doing something or other. Whether that's any connection to this Ranger, I don't know. But that's the direction that we're heading now for Cranmere Pool. Right, so I've just stopped by this pool up here, which is right on the top in the middle of nowhere. I've just topped up my water bottles here, and so we'll be heading in that direction over there. I've forgotten the name. I think it's Black Hill we're heading for, and then you've got Cut Hill just beyond that. But once we get to Black Hill, we'll do a right hand turn, and that will take us to Little Kneeset. So I'm not quite sure how far that is from here, but it's not a million miles from here. Hour and a half, maybe a little bit more. Right, well, we've got Little Kneeset is just down there. It's one of these. There's two hills just down here. Little Kneeset is the second one. So I'll just head, I'll probably go along here a little bit further and then take a right hand turn to go across to it, rather than going straight this way, because this is very rough here and you're going to have to go down a valley and back up. So it's going to be better to go across here and then take a right hand turn, sort of almost follow the watershed around. I'm bound to cut a corner somewhere. I'll decide. You can see Fair Tor is that one there, and then you can see the line of Tors in the distance over there. Let's just get you lined up, because now you can just about see all three of them. So there you've got Hare Tor, I think is this one. That one's Chat Tor, and then I think the one in the middle was Sharp Tor. So that's that line of three that I crossed 10 days or so ago when I was last here. And of course that one over there I'm pretty sure is Great Links Tor. But I've just arrived at the foot of Fair Tor, came down across over there. I've forgotten what that big hill is called. It might be Black Hill, I'll check later. but came across from the hill along the top and then cut a corner down here. So little Kneeset is just up here. So this is the stream that runs at the foot of Fair Tor. So if you know this area, Amercombe Brook is at the end of this stream. So Amercombe Brook would be somewhere sort of just down the valley in there, not too far away. And again, you can see the line of 3 tors on the horizon. Just one thing I wanted to show you, I've just noticed, I don't know whether the camera really can pick this up very easily, but the highest cloud, as in the cloud above this cloud here, is going that way. It's going north. And it actually is going north. It's not deceptive that this cloud, lower cloud, is going south. That cloud high up is definitely going north, and this lower cloud is definitely coming south. And north is that way, so south is behind us. So I don't know if anyone has any ideas as to what weather phenomenon, you know, that is, that makes high cloud go 180 degrees different to the lower cloud. That's quite interesting. I did check the forecast before leaving, and the forecast did say that the wind would be coming from the west or the southwest to start off, sort of this morning and early this afternoon, and some of this afternoon. But then it would be coming from the north as the evening progressed. So this evening it all should be coming this way. But now I've noticed that the wind has changed and it seems to be coming this way now. These clouds are still coming south. But the wind is a bit topsy-turvy up here at the moment. I'm going to get my water just from that little inlet, or that little stream there. There is a poor unfortunate dead sheep down there, but he or she is well and truly deceased. There's not a lot left of that one. So yeah, so I just got to get my water, and then I might be able to get the 1 litre platypus inside the pack, but whatever happens, I'll certainly have to carry the 2 litre, if not maybe the 1 litre just up there, which isn't too bad. It's the only disadvantage with a small pack, but I know I'm always going to be near water, so it doesn't really matter having to, to carry water a short distance. Okay, well, we're on Little Kneeset, so I've got the water now and everything. As I keep saying in all the videos, home's that way. I was just thinking when I got here, I've only been here a few minutes, it feels kind of strange coming back here. It is it's impossible to explain it, but it feels strange being back here. There's a funny feeling about being back in this spot again. This is where it all started, where all my camps, well, most of my camps last year were, until I did a couple of walks with Colin, and then of course in the winter I was over the other side. But I did at least 5 here last year, or 4 or 5 anyway. I can just see a little bird running over there. I wonder if that's a chick or something like that. Tiny little thing. It's just gone 3 o'clock. It's about 3:15. When I got down to pick the water up, it was obviously before 3. So I've done this whole walk. I'll have to work out approximately how many kilometres I've done, but it must be at least 25. It's quite a long walk. Okay, well, I've pitched the Super Tarp in the A-frame configuration. I still have 5 pegs spare, 2 of which I might use just to hold the ground sheet in place, possibly, because there's nothing to tie it to. I can probably tie the rear to the back, but we'll see. I've got plenty of pegs left. I brought 16 pegs with me. So this tarp does take a lot of pegs to hold it down. So it's always worth, with a tarp, taking extra pegs. And I must admit, oh god, I've said it was. And I'll be honest and say I nearly thought I was going to run out of pegs, but by pegging that directly to the ground sort of saved me 2 pegs on those 2 points there, and then I've just used 1 peg here just for those 2 bungee type tie outs up there, which are just very, very loose. I've used 1 peg and a piece of cord here just to double strengthen that side, because that's the side where any breeze or wind will be coming from. And I've used the MSR peg down there, front and back. So I must admit, from the rear it doesn't look too bad. She's not a bad looking bit of stuff from the rear, I must admit. So that's enough of that innuendo. That's from the side, and I've pegged the rear corners. I've pegged obviously low to the ground, and then I've just raised the middle just, you know, a little bit, so there probably will be a bit of a wind tunnel effect in there, so it'll be interesting to see how that works out. And the wind is not supposed to be coming from this direction, so that's why I've deliberately pegged this side higher. So again, I've got 3 sides off the ground. Right, I went to light my maths with the new jet lighter that I'd bought from eBay, and it ran out of gas. I will say, I must admit this time, I never thought to fill it up. I presumed that there would be plenty in there, or some in there, but there wasn't. It ran out before I'd even started doing anything. Of course, thankfully, because I'm not that organised, I'd left my old lighter in the pack. And it's just as well I'm not very organised, because if I had gone through everything, I would have taken that lighter out. So, as I say, thankfully I've got another lighter, but I also have a dozen emergency matches as well. Although I did not bring my fire steel with me, because with this stove I can't light it very well with the fire steel, so I didn't bother bringing that. But we're okay, so I've got the matches, and as I say, thankfully the spare lighter. So that's just you know, a word of warning: if you've got a lighter, make sure there's plenty of fuel in it, and of course always have a backup ignition source, as in matches or something equivalent. I've had a cup of soup, I've got a tea on, or water on, and I'll have my meal in a minute. I've put the mat down, that's the short mat again, and I've turned it upside down. You may vaguely remember from the last video I said I'll try turning it upside down and see if that makes any difference. So what I've got now is the narrow end this is the narrow end, what would normally be, you know, where your hips would go. I thought, well, my head is narrower than my hips, so I thought we'll put my head up this end and then put the wider end down there. So we'll see how that goes. You'll notice I've not brought the bivvy as we start coming out of bug season, which we should be now just. And for the most part I'll do without the bivvy, although I may still bring one occasionally. And in the winter I'll probably put one in as an emergency anyway. But generally speaking I'll probably do without. The only thing is, just got to be careful of course that the sleeping bag doesn't go over the sides, because of course with the bivvy it's all self-contained. So that's the only thing there with a narrowish ground sheet, which is ideal of course for a solo shelter, but this being, and of course the bed is still the same of course, you know, but this is a double tarp, so it'll be quite interesting to try and fit a double ground sheet in there. That would be pretty good, I think. And of course what I used to do last year, as some of you may remember, I used to, and this year of course actually, because I burnt a hole in it, was bring that spare piece of Cuban with me, and then I could lay that to the side. And I must admit that I did forget to bring, and I said I must admit again, I'm starting to notice it now. You'd have to give me something else to say. Yeah, so I used to put that down the side, but of course with the bivvies I didn't need it. So that's something that I may start to think about putting back in the pack. We'll see how that goes. And I've put the Cuban stuff sack over there, and then I've put things on top of it, so that gives a little bit of a barrier to the left hand side. That's a song, isn't that? Hang on a minute. So my water was just boiling. Yeah, wasn't there something like past the duchy on the left hand side? So that's that, you know, just put that stuff bag down there, and then I've put a few things on top of it. So I'll be interested to know whatever tarp users use, you know, maybe they use a slightly wider ground sheet. But it works perfectly, it's got everything is on it. And I say, it's just as well I had the stuff sack, which you would have anyway, just so I can put a few things on that. But it's a pretty neat layout there, I think. Well, it's 5 to 6, which means I've been in this neck of the woods for 3 hours. And I have to say, it's absolutely, I have to say, that's a good one, that's better. I have to say, it's, the last 3 hours have absolutely flown by. I wouldn't have realised it was 5 to 6. Oh, I don't know where those 3 hours have gone. Because I say, I got down the bottom just before 3, filled up with water, and I was up here by 3:15. So just coming up to 6 now. Mind you, it took a while to set everything up, of course. And because of my lighter mishap, I ended up sort of having my meal first, and then with the water that was left over, I had some cup of soup. And then because I still had my old lighter, thankfully, I then had a cup of tea. So I'm completely and utterly stuffed now. I can't tell you what the temperature is because the thermometer thing is packed up. I probably need to put another battery in that. But it has cooled off a bit. So I've put a Rab t-shirt on over my Paramo shirt, and then I've put a wind shirt on over that, and they're all very light, thin layers, but of course they'll all trap air between them. And then I've put this lightweight down jacket on the top of that, and apart from a pair of leggings and a beanie hat, this is all my layers that I've got on now. I nearly put in an extra insulating, very light insulating layer, and I think if it had been a bit colder, or if the forecast had been colder, I would have brought it. But because the forecast wasn't, you know, too bad, I didn't think I'd need that, and so far, touch wood, I've not. I think next time I'll have to start thinking about putting gloves in, because my hands, they're not cold, but they're just cooling off, you know, a little bit. So I think gloves will be needing to go in soon, even if they're just there, you know, just in case for the next couple of trips until it gets really cold. Footwear, I wore the Innovate Trail Rock 245 this time. So if you remember from my other video, in my other video, these have the 6mm footbed with the 3mm or 1 chevron height at the back. So these are pretty minimalistic and did very well. In fact, we've had so little rain around here that it was only a few times up on the tops over there where I got, you know, damp or slightly wet feet. But other than that, most of the walking around here is being very, very dry, which for Dartmoor is virtually unheard of. So it just shows how hot and dry it has been. So yeah, these did well. What I've done, I've taken my socks off which were wet, and I've put my sealskin socks on. So I've now got dry feet inside the sealskin sock, inside the shoe. So that's how I, you know, that's how I care for my feet when I get to camp. Take my wet shoes and socks off, put the sealskins on. In this case, now it's cooler. When it was hot, I just walked around in bare feet, and that seemed okay, although you've got to be careful what you're standing on. So I don't really recommend that, but it worked okay. But now it's cooling off, the sealskins are working well. And of course in the winter, I'll be wearing the sealskins at night, and I'll be wearing the sealskins by day, and of course when I get to camp, I'll take them off, and then put dry socks on before I get into bed. Because of course in the winter it would have been dark for 2 hours now at 6 o'clock. So basically, you know, pitch camp, and then straight into the sleeping bag. But of course in the summer we've still got, it's 6 o'clock, so we've still got another 2 hours of daylight left in September. I don't think it'll get dark until after 8, although I may duck in before 8. I would be surprised if I stayed out another 2 hours. We'll see how it goes. Right, well it's just coming up to 10 to 7, so I think I'm going to tuck myself in a minute. It's just starting to, it's not cold, but it is cooling off now. My hands are definitely getting cooler, so I could quite easily stay out longer, but I think it's time to nip in pretty soon. there's only another hour or so of daylight left anyway, so I may as well get in and get comfortable. But I had a bit of a tidy up. As you can see, I've laid out on the left hand side a few things down there just to give a little bit of protection to the left side of the sleeping bag, and then I've just put a couple of things down here as well just to make sure I don't end up on the grass, which I don't think I will anyway, but every little bit counts and it keeps it neat and tidy anyway. Obviously once my legs are down there, then that will stop that rising up, and I'll put this sheet under my legs as well. I'm not quite sure if you can pick that up, but the mists have come in this evening. So they're just coming up to 8 o'clock in the evening. Just see the mist through there. But I'm very comfortable. I must admit I'm quite warm. Very warm. I've taken my down jacket off, so I've just got my base layer shirt and wind shirt on. May need to take this off later. As I say, I'm certainly not cold. I'm quite on the warm side at the moment. Well, yeah, it's quite cosy in here, to be honest. I've been having a read on the Kindle, which is on my phone, and listening to some music and just chilling out and relaxing. And it's rather pleasant. There's a breeze, of course, that comes through, but don't notice it in the sleeping bag at all. So the only thing that's a little bit cool are my fingers, but not a lot. The rest of me is very cosy. Well, good morning. It's just coming up to 7 o'clock. So I haven't been awake very long. I woke up a few times. It's a little bit cooler, obviously not being inside the bivvy bag was a little bit cooler, so I put my coat on at about 5:30 and then sort of catnapped until literally just a few minutes ago. But yeah, it's not a bad night's sleep actually. Definitely can feel the breeze coming through. Holding the camera, which I was holding here, I can feel the cool breeze coming through. So it's definitely a different way of doing this camping luck, that's for sure. I'll go back to the either the trail style or the cricket next time. But I just wanted to get this out now just to give it a go. And no, it was good fun. One of the toggles has come off, or a knot's come undone, or something, I don't know at the moment, from one side of the ground sheet. So it's still hooked up there, but that side of the ground sheet has come undone. Thankfully my feet are still on the mat and the pack's down there, so not a problem. But I don't know what happened there. I'll have to have a look at that. Oh, and the upside down mat, that worked well as well. I wasn't my hips and everything weren't sort of, you know, falling all over the place. So turning this short mat upside down, that was definitely a success. But after this trip I will go back to a full mat. So just a minute, I do like to, I said it again, I do like to have, I do like my feet and legs being on a full mat once it starts to get cold. It was okay this time, but I think much cooler, and then my legs and feet would start to chill off. So I will go back to a full mat next time. And I didn't bring socks for night time, and that's something else I'll put socks back in next time for night time. So I like to have my feet in socks. And it's been so warm, I haven't bothered. And again, I haven't missed them this time, but I think much colder I would want them. So it's quite an interesting little trip, this one. It's sort of, I think it's good to try and come out just as it's turning, you know, just before it's, because we've had it really quite warm, let's face it. And it's obviously going to start getting a lot cooler now. So I think trying to come out when it's just at this sort of turning point, it just sort of taps you on the head and just says, yeah, you just need a couple of extra things for next time. You're okay this time, but next time when it's even cooler, you're going to need a couple of extra things. So as I say, I think gloves will be needed next time, and nighttime socks, full length mat. So nothing that I've missed here, but yeah, definitely something. When unfortunately autumn is now on its way. I know so many of you people out there enjoy winter and snow and all that sort of stuff, and sure, it has its different things from summer, but I must admit, give me the hot summer any time. I'm still not convinced by all that snow and all that everybody gets so excited about. But I got to check my water out. Just wanted to show you, I've sort of just about got, you know, well, not quite sit-up room, but a little bit of headroom to manoeuvre in this pitch. That sort of sitting up, and I can feel my head is brushing the top, but I must admit it's not too bad. Said it again, but it's not too bad. Right, I've just come round the back just to find out why the brown sheet had folded in, and you can see 99% of anything that goes wrong in the outdoors is not equipment failure, it's human error. And you can see what's happened here is, and that knot there is a knot I put in to shorten the bungee cord, the same as I've done over there. So forget that knot, I put a loop here around the bottom of the mitten hook, and that knot obviously came undone. So it's nothing to do with the equipment. That was obviously my knot wasn't up to scratch. I thought I just put a normal loop in, and it's never come undone before, but that's what's happened there. So as I say, a first time for everything, so I've put another loop in that. But what a beautiful morning, isn't it? I say, it's really lovely here now. I've put my porridge in a bag. I don't normally do my porridge like this, but I put too much water in there, thinking I'd brought my Quaker Oats pouches, but I'd actually put this in, and I put too much water in the pot, and I couldn't be bothered to tip it back into the platypus. So that's the one disadvantage of only having one pot. So I'll, in the winter, I'll probably go back to my 2-pot system, but for summer it's more than adequate. But again, I just wanted to, I don't want to be hanging around too much. Once I start sort of packing up by myself, it's nice to, you know, get packed up. So that's why I thought, well, I'd get my porridge and tea going at the same time. And it's always handy to count your pegs at the end. So now I had 2 of those, 2 of those, 2, 4, 5. Right, so I'm missing one of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm missing one of those. And just a useful tip if you're folding or rolling Cuban fibre is to have your stuff bag handy and roll it to the width or a bit less than the width of the bag. Don't cry for me, Gizzy Wizzy, for Daddy is coming home. All through the tussocks, da-da-dee-da-dum. And that's enough of me acting the goat. Cut! Edit! Don't put that in! Right, of course, most of you probably know that Gizzy is my small cat. So if anyone didn't know who Gizzy was, she's my small cat. Anyway, this is one little area of Dartmoor. I just thought I'd show you. As you can see, it's almost sort of thigh, or well, not thigh deep, but certainly knee deep in grass around here. These are what we would call in this country, I'm not sure we'd even actually call these tussocks, but I think they're, this is more sort of marshy grasses, but as near as damn it tussocks. Where you can see Howto, Sharptor, which is in the sun, or just in the sun, and Chaptor, which is just here. So last time we were walking between Sharptor in the sun and Chaptor sort of near the end of the valley going down, going up that line from down in this valley down here, which is Ammercombe Brook. So this time we've come from little Kneeset, which just has a little bit of sun on it there, this way. Now I have a feeling when I did my winter walk last year, one of them, I'm not quite sure which one, I think I came across here, or may have just scooted down the side of this hill, but I'm sure it was around about here, heading for little Kneeset, and that was the camp where I filmed, and it was about -12 wind chill here. Certainly a difference in the weather today. So hopefully, if we've got our navigation right, once we get over the brow of this hill, it should be a fairly level walk towards Greentor and Bleak House. And this is Bleak House, which you've probably seen in loads of other videos, and probably in mine as well. But this is where, for me, it all started 10 years ago, 2003. I think it would have been about May 2003, so it's just over 10 years now. But from the Dartmoor car park, which is the one I use for this trip, this was the pretty much the first thing that I saw in 2003 on that walk. Obviously I saw the other tours up there, but this is, for some reason, this is the place that holds more memories for me or something. I don't know why. It's just a old ruin. Thank you. The old cows agreeing. That's those cows out there, not the one. Sorry. Yes. So now be quiet. You're putting me off, and you're going to lose me all my lady viewers as well. I haven't got many as it is. So yeah. So this is really where it all started out here at Bleak House, sort of over 10 years ago. Well, we're near the end of another adventure, but anyway, as I say, this is the end of this camp, so I hope you've enjoyed it, and you know, catch you all again in the near future. I'll just do a little swing around here just so you can see this area.